Welcome back to another episode of the Nothing to Do podcast. I am your host, Jeremy. Um, I'm standing up right now, not because I'm doing an audition tape or because I'm practicing to be a stand up comedian. It's getting stale in here, y'all. It's getting stale. Creativity and inspiration and motivation on my end is at an all-time low for this show right now. And I can maybe pinpoint a few reasons why. Some of the stuff I talked about in in the last episode, which I think was 3 weeks ago. Um so this is an attempt for me to get the thoughts going, the juices going. I'm a pacer. So sometimes I just like to walk around and pace. A lot of you listening are probably just listening on Spotify. I'm like, I don't even know if you're sitting, standing, or taking a shit or in fucking, I don't know, fucking Guam recording this. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just letting you know what's going on here at NTD Studios, aka my living room. There is no more, at least for the time being, there is no more time or format or schedule for the Nothing to Do podcast. It comes out when it can come out. And that's where I'm at right now. And that being said, I do have some exciting stuff lined up for the show. To break the monotony of fucking sitting here and talking to myself and responding to Juancito and breaking down some of the hardest hitting sports stories that have come out of Providence. But damn, so much has gone on in the past 3 weeks or so since I was last with you guys. Where do I begin? There's Tom Brady, there's LeBron, there's the NBA trade deadline, the Super Bowl, the Grammys. Fuck the Grammys. I know this is like an annual and perpetual thing that happens every year at the end of January where the Grammys get super hyped up and the next day's winners who should have won don't win, and people who we don't know or don't listen to win all these big awards. Am I surprised? No. I will say, listen, Harry Styles winning over Beyonce, I can see that. I can see that. I didn't even listen to Beyonce's Renaissance album. A bunch of people, mostly women, told me that it was pretty good, as they do all Beyonce albums. I didn't listen. I listened to like the 3 singles that came out at fucking gym class when the fucking gym teacher's playing it or some shit, right? But for the most part, it's, I don't care for Beyonce like most people do. She probably should have won. I can see why Harry Styles wins, right? But I could see Harry Styles winning album of the year. Fucking Lizzo, however. Who the fuck is Lizzo? Who is Lizzo? Like, is Lizzo just like the biggest industry plant like that we've seen in the last fucking 10 years? I mean, like, who the fuck listens? Like, fuck Lizzo. She won like best like record of the year or pop performance of the record. She runs some big ass thing for some song that I've never heard of. I've never heard, and then I've never heard even in passing. Listen, Lizzo makes music for 55-year-old white women. She's like this big, like, it's supposed to be like this big black icon, like, no pun intended, because she's fucking huge. But like, I don't know anybody who listens to her music. I don't know anybody who listens to her music at all. And she's like apparently the biggest fucking pop star, the biggest, one of the biggest names in music. I've never heard her music. I've never heard anybody fucking cape for her music. I never hear her music in passing. And she's just like lifted up to be this enormous, this enormous symbol of like loving yourself and loving your body, which is another conversation that I find like very weird, for lack of a better word at the moment. Listen, I woke up like an hour ago. I did this setup. I got my coffee here. I'm like talking to you with my back towards the camera like this whole time. But anyways, Lizzo. She's like, it's like the whole, it's kind of like the whole is fat shaming wrong type thing. Cause it's like with Lizzo, listen, fuck Lizzo. Again, fuck Lizzo. Good for Lizzo. Happy for Lizzo. But fuck Lizzo. Um should we, like, it brings up the question, should we be embracing like we're basically embracing obesity. Like that's what Lizzo's brand is, like embracing, like that she's a big fat fucking black woman. And I know that sounds really harsh and really insensitive and probably really ignorant, but it's like we're like celebrating obesity in a way, right? Like I understand the love yourself part stuff, but like Lizzo's 347 pounds, and she's out there in like a bathing suit or bikini or a dress that fucking SZA should be wearing, and she's like I love myself and I love my body and all this stuff, which is cool, I guess. Um, but what happens when like she wakes up one day and like she's like has this existential loneliness and this depression, and that her whole popular and cultural identity is just her being a big fat fucking black woman? Like what happens then? Like, and then she decides to go on a courageous journey to lose 257 pounds and be healthy. And then we find out that her music really isn't that good, because it's not. Because I played it. I played one song. I played the song that won for 30 seconds this morning just to get ready for this half-ass monologue I'm giving you in the show. Only to be like extremely underwhelmed. And just be like, yeah, wow, like I don't know what, like this is the most industry as industry gets in terms of just like pumping out this star. Listen, happy for Lizzo, good for Lizzo, but fuck Lizzo. That's what I gotta say on that. And then what? Like Kendrick wins Best Rap Album of the Year. That's a given. And who else? Bad Bunny. You know, Bad Bunny should have won Album of the Year. Bad Bunny should have won Album of the Year. Just for like its cultural impact alone. Like quality wise, it was good, right? It was pretty solid. You're not gonna miss with the Latino community. He had some songs in there that kind of switches up not only his sound, but just kind of like elevating the sound of reggaeton, right? Which is dope. But that album had such a cultural impact, not only in Latino culture, but like culture in general, pop culture in general, and just like the massive wave that, you know, it caused. I think he should have won it. And in a way, I think they gave him one. I forget, he did win an award that night. I forget which one it was. And good for him. Shout out to Bad Bunny. Yeah, fuck the Grammys and fuck Lizzo. Yeah. If you listen to Lizzo, text me. Hit me up. Slide into my DMs. Comment on my story. Tell me your favorite song and favorite album. I guarantee you that if this podcast was as big as like a fucking Joe Rogan podcast, and I just said for people to text me who listen to Lizzo, I wouldn't get one fucking text, because nobody listens to Lizzo except for private school moms, private school white moms. And yeah, that's you know, it's been a crazy it's been a crazy couple weeks in just like pop and sports culture in general. We got the Super Bowl this weekend, which I'm pretty fucking excited. Why would I just, as I was saying that, I was like, I'm not that excited for this Super Bowl. I'm flat out lying to you guys. I'm not excited for this Super Bowl. I hope the Eagles. I'm going for the Eagles. I'm picking Eagles to win 31-21. I'm sick of Pat Mahomes. God damn it, do I respect Pat Mahomes, but I just don't like him for some reason. I don't know if it's his face. I don't know if I'm just a hater. I think some of it has to do with his wife and his brother just like being the most cringy fucking people on like the face of planet Earth right now. But I don't want to see Pat Mahomes win. I don't want to see. I'm tired of the Chiefs. I'm tired of the hype. I want to see the Eagles and Jalen Hurts go in there and fucking smack them in their mouth. And while we're on the topic of football, the GOAT, Tom Brady, officially retires after a very underwhelming season on the field and a very overwhelming season in his personal life. Lest we forget, this man came into the league second to last pick overall in, I believe, the year 2000 or 1999, and he came in as a backup, and he won the Super Bowl, and then he proceeded to win 5 more Super Bowls with the New England Patriots, with my New England Patriots. And then he goes to a retirement city in Tampa Bay, Florida, and joins up with some old friends and wins another fucking championship to make it a whopping 7 fucking rings. The records, he has all-time passing records, touchdown records, you name it. And yet, he somehow manages to lose his family in the process. How do you do that? How does that happen? You retire last year for like 40 some days. And I remember I went to the whole conspiracy of Giselle being a fucking bruja and all that. Whatever. I forget how many days it was. But you and then you leave retirement, sacrificing your family and your kids in the process to play another year of football, only to go 8-9 in the worst division of football, and then get absolutely tossed against a historically bad playoff franchise since like the 80s. I know the Dallas had their run in the 80s or early 90s where they were winning chips like crazy. Not in my lifetime. Dallas is historically tragic in the playoffs, and you let Dak Prescott take an absolute shit on your chest, only to go out the next year. But listen, Tom, you already lost your family, you lost your kids, you lost your wife. The divorce is final. Why would why wouldn't you just? I would keep going. Just keep going. Because nothing says a more big of a fuck you to Giselle than to just win another chip and be like, yes, I still got it. And he had teams. Like, teams wanted him. I heard Miami wanted him. Tampa still wanted him. The Raiders wanted him. Right? That's a head scratcher. That's a head scratcher for sure. To come back, fake retirement, come back, have a very mediocre year, lose your family, turmoil, lose probably millions in the FTX scandal, because he definitely had some money in FTX. He was the face of him with a bunch of other celebrities with the face of FTX for a while, until that whole fucking scheme just came crashing down. And you leave. You leave. I think skill-wise, Tom had at least another 2 years in him, as long as he had a good team, a decent team, a decent line. That's all you. If Tom had a solid line, he had a good at least 2 years left in him. That's all he needed, right? He can't take a hit. He hasn't been able to take a hit in a while. He knows that, which is why he's very good and he's very aware in the pocket. He'll just go down. He'll just go straight ragdoll right down just flop on the floor like a fucking kindergartner who still can't walk well on his feet. And that's all he needed is a good line, and he could have made another run at the Super Bowl. So yeah, that's a head scratcher, Tom. Such a legendary resume to just end it in such a huh? Really? Your wife's gone already, pal. Keep going. Win another Super Bowl. And then mail her and then get a copy of that ring and then mail it to her. And that'll just be like a big fuck you to Giselle. Right? Because he ain't low. I mean, he definitely wants her back. That retirement post, he had some little Giselle pics sprinkled in there. Like, oh boy, I know what you're doing. Seeds are getting planted. The divorce was final not fucking 10 weeks ago, and he's already trying to get back in there. But congratulations, Tom. You gave us. We watched some probably the greatest sports player, top 3 greatest sports player of all time. And he did 90% of his work for our hometown in New England. So we salute you. Shout out to Tom Brady. And this is where I transition to another great in LeBron James. LeBron James passes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in all-time points earlier this week against, who was it? Doesn't matter who was it. It doesn't matter who was it again. He just did it. He dropped 38. He needed 36. And that was really cool, I guess. I didn't watch the game. I was asleep. I mean, we knew it was going to happen. LeBron's dad is sick right now. I mean, he's been sick for he's been down. He must have been down bad for at least the last 10 years of his career. But now he's fucking, LeBron James' dad is down bad. He is in a bar in Ohio right now, just pissed drunk out of his mind. Down bad. Talking about, that's my boy. Boy, oh my God. I would kill myself if I was LeBron James' dad. Oh my God. Like, how do you do that? He's like, yo, how do you do that? You think he's ever tried, you think he's ever tried to get back in his life and they just buried the story? Like, LeBron James just kept it every 4 years, like, son, no, dad, fuck you. You left me and my mom. Or maybe he doesn't have a dad. Like maybe he's just like a spawn of some celestial being. Like his mom is like the Virgin Mary, and then he's like the Jesus Christ of basketball. And he's like the Son of God, which is why he's been able to do all these things for as long as because he's 38 and he's still putting up these numbers. Or he could just be like roided up, juicing. Because he's 38. He's out there still dunking on niggas like crazy. But yeah, LeBron's dad, man. I mean, SNL should make a skit on where LeBron's dad was the day he broke the fucking scoring record. Because that could be, I don't know, that would be funny. The trade deadline was pretty fucking crazy. The trade deadline. What happened in the trade? Look, I can't even fuck. Kyrie and KD just leave. Just the most tragic and dysfunctional and toxic trio of Harden, Irving, and KD has finally come to a close officially. I think together when they were in Brooklyn, what was the stat? They played like 14 games together. They were on the team for 2 years. They played 14 games together. Kyrie Irving at his time in Brooklyn missed 70% of his season because he didn't want to get vaccinated. When he was finally eligible to play, he wasn't. He missed like a week or so for like a family birthday. Didn't play. Did he play in those playoffs where they lost to the Bucks? I don't think he did. loses to the Boston Celtics in 4 straight games to his former team to get swept in the first round last year. Has a whole scandal on the Amazon Israelite film documentary that came out earlier this year. Gets suspended for that, and then Brooklyn proceeds to drag him through the mud in order for him to be eligible to play again, which I think is one of the big. I forgot about that, and I think is one of the big reasons why he wanted to leave Brooklyn. And I'm not mad. Aside from all of the other Kyrie shit, I could definitely see why. Like I would definitely want to leave Brooklyn if they put me through some shit like that. Like that was like the most emasculating shit. They made him like go like meet with the rabbi and like learn about like Judaism and like have him do like this community service type bullshit. Like I'm not saying what he posted or not posted. I never saw the documentary. I'm not saying it wasn't hurtful and it wasn't harmful and it wasn't like ignorant or anything, but it's just like just suspend the man and get it over with. But like they like made it a point to like almost emasculate him, which to be fair to him, like I'd be like, yeah, fuck you guys. I like a week before the trade, I demand a trade. And Brooklyn was like, you know what? You could have it. We're done with you. And then not a week later, KD goes to the Suns, forms another super team, and now all of a sudden the Suns are the favorites in the West, which I don't agree with. I'm very much starting, but as the years go by, I'm very much starting to hate the super team culture. I know a lot of people are sick of the Warriors. I'm not that sick of the Warriors. Mainly because the Warriors, aside from the Celtics, are the only good homegrown team in the NBA. The NBA they buy teams. They don't raise them anymore. You know, they don't develop players. They don't develop teams. You know, which is why I love this fucking Celtics team, and which is why I like the Warriors and respect the Warriors. And even though the Warriors are, I think, they're in the top 10, they'll probably make a play-in game. And I think that if they make it into a series and make it out of the play-in rounds, that they'll take the West as long as Curry's healthy. Yeah, as long as the team is healthy. And I hope they fucking do, because I'm sick of these fucking super teams. I'm sick of the super teams. Fuck KD. You know, honestly, all this shit I've talked about Kyrie. I still think I like Kyrie better than KD. Like as a player, there's something like there's a level of respect I have for KD's game, and I really want to like him, but he just makes it really hard to like because, like, he's like kind of a diva, and obviously it obviously all started with like him going to Golden State like 5-6 years ago, whenever that was. Excuse me. And he goes to Golden State, pulls that pussy ass move, and then he gets into like Twitter beefs with like guys with Twitter crazy Twitter handles like fucking Freaky Boy 123, and like trying to defend his legacy and like with burner accounts. He gets into arguments with like fucking Michael Rappaport like in DMs like. And then he does that bullshit earlier this year when Kyrie was out, like just basically throwing his whole team under the bus, being like, I got Nick Claxton and Royce O'Neal and fucking, I don't fucking know. Like, what do you expect? Like, you don't do that as a leader? Like, and I'm not saying like, not every great player has to be a leader in every sense of the word, but you don't do that. Don't fucking do that. Don't do that shit. So part of me, aside from the Warriors, in terms of the West, obviously I'm going for the Celtics to win the whole thing. But so aside from the Warriors, I would love to see Kyrie and Luka just absolutely take a shit on the Suns in the playoffs. Because I love Luka. I love Luka. Who doesn't love Luka? You know what I think? I think Luka. Because, you know, they're all, you know, it's all happy-go-lucky right now. Kyrie just got there. Everyone's brothers. They just want to play some great basketball. They're excited for the possibility, of making a run for the championship, right? Give it 8 months, and Luka is gonna call Kyrie a nigga, and we're gonna be okay with it. And I'm not gonna, and I don't mean it in like a racially, like Luka. It's not gonna be like he's a fucking nigga, right? It's gonna be more like Luka's gonna be like something's gonna leak, and Luka's gonna be like, "What the fuck is wrong with this nigga?" It's gonna be something like that, like a very casual, just N word. Gonna call Kyrie like, "What the fuck?" And I think I'm okay with. I think I would give him the pass, but who am I to give? I'm like, who am I to get? Like I'm not even black, like in the sense. So I mean, listen, I'm the last person who is going to validate another white guy, another white man, to say the N word. But all I'm saying is that if you're asking me, I'm okay with it. If he uses it in that context, I think Luka's blacker than fucking 70% of the NBA right now. He's definitely blacker than John Morant. That's another one. John fucking Morant. As much as I want to like him and I love his game, like he's just like apparently he's just the fakest gangster. Like very much, this man's a gangster. Your real name is Clarence, and Clarence's parents had a real good marriage, and he went to private school in the grid, like that. Apparently, that's John Morant, but he's out here talking. He be out here tweeting about, you can, you can see how these hollows feels, and he's with his goons in a fucking in a fucking truck with like training what is allegedly to be laser sights from guns on Pacers players, and he's doing all these fucking like fake gangster shit, and he's like not a tough guy. Listen, Luka's blacker than John Morant. That's all I'll say. So if Luka calls Kyrie a nigga in the context that I just broke down, then I'm fine with it, and I'll go down and bet that like mostly everybody will be fine with it, especially it being Kyrie, because Kyrie is out of his fucking mind. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see and hear or witness how this fallout's going to turn out, because it's inevitable. Kyrie will fall out wherever he goes till the end of time, till the end of his career as an NBA athlete. And for some reason I can't hate Kyrie. He's also a diva and a terrible teammate, long term at least, and a terrible he's just not like he's just clearly has shown that he's just like a toxic individual in the locker room and on the floor if you give him enough time to show it, right? But there's just, I don't know if it's something about his game, like I just can't hate the guy. I don't know. I think I still like him more than KD. So I guess that's the hot take for the day is Luka's gonna call him a nigga. Yeah, I think I've touched on mostly everything I wanted to talk about so far. And I like the standing up thing. I think it's for at least for right now it's working. I think the fact that I'm drinking coffee as I do this episode is also helping. But yeah, I'm gonna pay. My thoughts are getting out there a little bit more freely as I'm pacing. Yeah. Do I have? I'm going to New York a little later today. Um, Shout out to Zeb. It's Zeb's birthday today, so happy birthday to you, my guy. I saw him last weekend. He came to Rhode Island. And we're gonna go party. I'm gonna go party in New York with him a little later tonight. But shout out to him. Since it's his birthday, I will say, listen, Zeb is one of the most like for those of you who don't know Zeb, he is a musician. He's a drummer. And he went to New York and pioneered our friend group movement to New York way before anybody else did. I think he went there when he's been there for 11 years now. And he has been grinding as a drummer, as a musician, playing studying and playing and just grinding out these gigs. And I would always tell him, I was like, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep working hard at it. And I'm not coming at it like as in terms of like I know like I am a firm believer of like that the 1,000 was it 10,000 hour theory that or the 10,000 hour idea or theory that Malcolm Gladwell talks about, where if you put that much time and effort into a craft, that the fruits of that labor essentially that you will, one, become an expert, and two, the fruits of that labor will come to show. Well, in the last year and a half, Zeb, that is clearly the case. My boy has been part of this pretty successful band called Simon Spine. They make great music. He's been on tour. I'm pretty sure he's played ACL. He's played Coachella. He's been on a Europe tour. He's going back on a Europe tour. So, Zeb, to one of the most consistent and hardworking people I know. This man does not have a bad vibe in his entire body. And I'm proud to call him my friend, and happy birthday to you. I don't think I've given anybody on this podcast at all that type of love yet. I gotta start doing that more, maybe for birthday shout outs. No, I think my sister, I've given my sister a lot of love on this. But yeah, Zeb, happy birthday to you, man. I can't wait to see you in a couple hours. And yeah. I started this episode and I was talking about sort of where I've been at mentally with this show. And I talked about it last year, the last episode. It's tough. My schedule is just like a lot crazier now between work and this master's program. And I just can't find the time, not even that I can't find the time, because that's not true. You can make time something. I think it's time and it's motivation. And yeah, it's been hard for me to find the motivation to get up and record these last couple of weeks, which makes me, I think, which makes me question my commitment to the show in a sense, if that makes any sense, as well as if this is something that I want to keep growing and pursuing. But I said it before and I'll say it again. The answer will always be yes. And I'm glad that I'm recording today and that I switched it up, because I've been having a lot of fun rambling like a crazy person in front of the camera while I'm standing up like a stand-up comedian or some shit. I've been having a lot of fun this last fucking 35 minutes, however long it's been. I've been recording. And it really comes down to the question. To the question is like, if I gave up on this show now, will I regret it in the? Will I regret it in the future? And I think the answer is 1,000% yes. And no matter how uninspired, unmotivated I may feel at certain times when it comes to the Nothing to Do podcast, it's moments like the moments I'm having right now that make me remember that, yes, I love fucking doing this. And yes, I do want to keep growing this. And with that being said, I do have some things, some people in the pipeline for the show that I'm really excited about. And that's all I'll say now, just to not jinx myself or jinx the process or whatever it may be. I'm just kind of keeping it hush. But in terms of me putting out episodes every other Monday, as of right now, I don't think I can commit to that schedule for a number of reasons. So, I mean, I'll aim for once a month as a bare minimum, just to get the rust off. But who knows? Maybe I'll be back fucking next week. But that being said, keep moving forward. I need to keep pushing. And anybody who may feel how I'm feeling about whatever they're pursuing or creating, just fucking keep pushing, keep going. And remember, always remember, fuck Lizzo. And that's it for this episode of the Nothing to Do podcast. Until next time, you dirtbags.